Hey guys, today we are going to cover one of the top 5 reasons that people do not hire virtual assistants. And today we are covering reason number 1. Do virtual assistants have good internet or do they have really bad internet? Let's cover it. Hey guys, Justin Nelson here with Sphere Rocket Virtual Assistants, and we are in part 1 of the series called The Top 5 Reasons People in the United States Do Not Hire Foreign-Based Virtual Assistants. So again, Justin Nelson, CEO of Sphere Rocket VA. I help people recruit virtual assistants for just a few dollars an hour to explode their business with growth, scale, and leverage to give you more time back. And so today's topic is ultimately one of the main reasons why people will not try virtual assistants is because they hear these horror stories of virtual assistants from the Philippines not having a great internet connection. And so I really want to deep dive into, is that true? Is it not true? Over the last few years, I've hired over 4,000 virtual assistants that I've placed with US-based companies, so I've seen it all. So let's start off at the basis. Number 1, the Philippines is a third world country that is still developing, and while it's developing at an all-time rate compared to other countries, it still does lack some infrastructure of internet. Now, with that being said, there's also the other side of the coin that because it's a third world country and it lacks a little bit of infrastructure, the demand for jobs in the country, especially virtual assistant jobs, because of how well it pays. People in the Philippines, they grow up wanting to be a virtual assistant and work the night shift, and it's kind of the equivalent of a United States wanting to be a doctor, wanting to be a lawyer. Over there, when I had the chance to visit and be with my awesome team, I learned that they wanted to be a virtual assistant. Now, with that being said, only reason I share that is because the demand is so high. Last month alone, Sphere Rocket had over 93,000 applications of people that wanted to work for Sphere Rocket, and I was only able to place 250 of those people with employers like you looking for virtual assistants. And so that demand versus supply is off. And so whenever our company goes through 93,000 applications, one of the things that we get to do is we're screening on so many different things, right? The computer, like its RAM size, how efficiently does it run? We're looking at, internet speed. We're internet speed testing them on every step of the way to make sure, it's got the right bandwidth, it's got the right upload speed, download speed. We're looking at where they live, what are the regions, what's the, living in downtown Manila is going to have a way different infrastructure than, living up in the forest, up in the northern part of the country. And so we look at all these different things, and while we don't ever discriminate, based on those things, it's obviously things that play into a factor of, does this person have a higher likelihood to have internet problems or a lesser likelihood to have internet problems? And so when it comes to all around, all I can do is tell you, for my team of 100, we have an online time about 93%. So my team is online about 93%. Now my US based team is on about 97%. So an online time means time without, when you record over 365 days, that the internet is not under any type of pressure. And what I mean by pressure is it doesn't mean that it's running slow, it doesn't mean that it's turned off. So usually about 3% of the time in the US, in my US based office, 3% is either running slow, like underneath speeds that are making it difficult to refresh screen, things like that, or it's running not at all. So it's about 3% of the time. Now the Philippines, due to our recruitment process, it's about 7% of the time. Now, we also have some things that we've learned that I think are going to be critical for you to know with virtual assistants is a lot of times virtual assistants will tell you my internet's down, and what they actually are telling you is that their power is down. And so what I've learned is a lot of times it's not a language barrier, it's just a term usage where they'll say, hey, my internet is not online. And it's actually no fault of the internet company or the infrastructure. It's actually an electrical infrastructure problem. And so one of the things that we do with our team is we invest a few $100s for those key members on our team, right? don't have it for all 100, but the key head of departments, over time, even when I just had one or two, we invest a few $100s to get them generators, right? Generators pretty well solve the problem of not having electricity or going out or, it being in the middle of a storm. And so by having a generator for your virtual assistant for just a few $100s, you save a lot of what used to be internet downages just because the electricity is more consistent. And the same also is true when it comes to internet. One of the cool things about the Philippines, and it's actually really unique, it's partly because it's a developing country, is there's a lot more competition when it comes to internet and free choice around who you're choosing. Like in America, we have like AT&T, Xfinity, and a lot of times when you move into a neighborhood, you have to use this one or that one. In the Philippines, it's a lot more open to who you're using. There's a lot more competition. And so with that being said, I've actually seen, and we suggest this to our team, they have these things called internet cards. Internet cards is where it's really affordable for you to actually have 2, 3, 4, 5 different internet companies run to your house, and you actually don't have to sign monthly agreements with them on most of them. You usually will if you want a better rate, so you'll sign it with the best one, but then you can have the backup internets on prepaid cards, right? So you have prepaid internet that is sitting there from a different company, a different line, a different satellite that is sitting there ready for you to go. Now, let's just be honest. Some of you guys are going, Justin, this sounds super complicated. I'm not sure this is worth it. Shouldn't I just go hire someone in the US? Sure, yeah, nothing wrong with hiring in the US. However, the cost savings of a virtual assistant at a few bucks an hour versus 10, 15, 20, 30 an hour, it's worth buying a generator and just making sure that they have extra backup cards. And so that's one thing we do at Sphere Rocket, that keeps our VAs online at a high level is number one, the recruitment and selection process. We make sure that that's top tier to make sure we're ruling out people that from day one show a red flag that they would never have great internet. So number one, selection process. Number two, we make sure that they have generators for those that are really important. I have some positions like video editing and things like that. It's not super time sensitive, right? If I get a video and it gets edited in this hour, a few hours later because the internet's down, it's what we call an offline activity. Those are positions where we might not have generators, but that's a big thing. Number two, for important positions where you want to make sure they're online at maximum capacity, you just buy them a generator. And then number three, we want to make sure our VAs are using internet cards, right? They have backups, they have backup internet that they can plug into. You can even over there, you can buy a personal hotspot, just like in the US. In the US, personal hotspots were only a thing for a few years before cell phones were able to take over and do that. But in the Philippines, they do still use personal hotspots quite a bit, which is just a cell phone internet that they can run their laptop through. And unless they're streaming or doing high-end video edits, 90% of admin work can run through those as well. So we pay all of our virtual assistants a little bit of an allowance for that. And so those three things are what we do to keep our internet usage of our virtual assistants online at almost all times. Now, with that being said, there's companies out there where you can go and find your own virtual assistant. There's nothing wrong with that, right? As a company that does it for you, obviously, of course, I'm biased to you using Sphere Rocket to help you find, recruit, and train your virtual assistants in any industry. However, if you choose to go do it yourself, you can do all the same things, right? You can recruit, you can get them generated, you can do those things, but it's all about the recruitment pool size, right? If you have 90,000 people to dig through, you're gonna have more options to choose from. If you throw up an ad on a Craigslist Philippines or any of those type of websites and you only have 3 people hit you up, you have less to choose from, right? You have less to screen against, which can sometimes run an issue for you. So I just wanted to say I appreciate you guys watching the videos as always. If you guys have any questions for me at all about internet usage in the Philippines, please feel free to drop a comment down below. I'm more than happy to answer any of your questions. And as always, if you ever need help in the recruitment process of getting a virtual assistant and helping us find them, train them, and get them onto your team, onboarded as fast as possible, check out the link below at sphererocketva.com. As always, thank you guys for watching. We'll chat soon.